Democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Mic check!
Mic check!
Dominion Power!
Dominion Power!
It's Virginia's only electric utility!
This is Virginia's only electric utility!
With its state monopoly, it made $2.5 billion in 2007 in revenue!
It's
You can do it! With its state monopoly,
With its state monopoly,
it made $2.5 billion
it made $2.5 billion
in revenue in 2007!
in revenue in 2007.
The money comes primarily from two types of energy.
The money comes primarily from two types of energy.
46% comes from coal.
46% comes from coal.
This includes the Chester plant.
This includes the Chester plant.
It produces 7.5 million tons
It produces 7.5 million tons
of carbon dioxide
of carbon dioxide
and 64,000 tons
and 64,000
of
tons
sulfur dioxide.
of sulfur dioxide.
Dominion has a continued commitment towards coal,
Dominion has a continued commitment towards coal
with a new plant opening
with a new plant opening
next year in Wise County.
next year in Wise County.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
Heavy use of coal has increased the demand
Heavy use of coal has increased demand
for more strip mining,
for more strip mining,
mountaintop removal,
mountaintop removal,
and fracking.
and fracking.
All of these types of mining
All of these types of mining
are environmental nightmares.
are environmental nightmares.
41% of their energy comes from
41% of their energy comes from
nuclear energy.
nuclear energy.
This includes
the
nuclear plant in Lake Anna.
nuclear plant in Lake Anna.
This plant is built on a known fault line.
This plant is built on a known fault line.
The original builder was fined $32,000
The original builder was fined $32,000
for hiding that fault line.
for hiding that fault line.
In March of 2011,
In March of 2011,
he was named the seventh most likely
he was named the seventh most likely
to be damaged by an earthquake.
to be damaged by an earthquake.
On August 23rd,
On August
he
23rd,
was hit by a 5.8 earthquake.
it was hit by a 5.8 earthquake.
Dominion is waiting for approval to restart
Dominion is waiting for approval to restart
this facility despite its dangers.
this facility despite its dangers.
Dominion also released 13 million pounds
Dominion also released 13 million pounds
of toxic air last year.
of toxic air last year.
But Dominion provides
Dominion provides
18,000 jobs nationwide.
18,000 jobs nationwide.
CEO Thomas Farrell made over 100 times
CEO Thomas Farrell made over 100 times
the average employee of Dominion.
the average employee of Dominion.
Dominion is also known for their lobbying.
Dominion is also known for their lobbying.
Dominion has raised the rates in Northern Virginia
Dominion has raised the rates in Northern Virginia
to more than 10 times more the average
to more than 10 times more than the average
kilowatt per hour in the national average.
kilowatt per hour in the national average.
Eric Kander is the largest recipient of Dominion.
Eric Cantor is the largest recipient of Dominion.
Dominion lobbied with $1.7 million in 2010
Dominion lobbied with $1.7 million in 2010
and $2.1 million in 2009.
and $2.1 million in 2009.
New laws allow state governments to regulate the costs.
New laws allow state governments to regulate the costs.
Dominion charges people for electricity,
Dominion charges people for electricity,
uses that money to lobby politicians,
uses that money to lobby
and
politicians,
then raise the rates.
and then raise the rates.
This is Dominion!
This is Dominion.
There is no clean coal. I also wanted to add
I also wanted to add
that Eric Cantor,
that Eric Cantor
I believe yesterday, started to block the Congressional Insider Trading Act,
the Congressional Insider Trading Act,
brought to the House by a fellow Republican of his
by a fellow Republican of his
to stop insider trading
to stop insider trading
in Congress
in Congress
because they can make regulations
because they can make regulations regulations
that change the market
and
make a lot of money on it. Statistically, it's been studied. The portfolios of Congress people way outperform average Americans. Though this has been known for a long time, and this act has been being tried to be passed for 6 years, hasn't made headway till now. Due to good press. Partly because of all the stuff we're doing. And it was looking really good to pass. But cancer has just stalled it. Trying to send it back to committee. And if it holds over till next year, when election stuff becomes big, it's gonna die. So that's just a little insight into how cancer and a lot of people make a lot of money and want to keep making a lot of money on the backs of Americans, through policies they enact. Woo! This is what democracy looks like.
Welcome home.
Is one of 12 regional banks.
It is not actually a bank in any sense. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation. Owned by the following families. Who convened on J.P. Morgan's Island Resort. Jekyll Island. Off the coast of Savannah, Georgia. In 1913. It went down. No, Mike. It went down as a duck hunting expedition. Where's the ducks? Let's see. John D. Rockefeller's man in the Senate, Nelson Aldrich. Morgan Senior Partner, Henry Davison. Central Banking Advocate, Paul Warburg. National City Bank Vice President, Frank Vanderlip. And MC staffer, API Andrews. Secretary of Treasury at the time. So we have two Rockefellers. Two Morgans. One cool and low person. And one economist. Cut the mic. In this group, we find the essence of the Fed. Powerful bankers with powerful government officials working together to have the nation's money system serve their interests, justified by economists to provide the scientific and marketable gloss. Since 1913, since the beginning of this country, the value of a dollar was $1. You could bury it in your backyard, and you could keep it forever, and it was $1. In 1913, when this powerful conglomeration of families merged together and hid themselves under the Federal Reserve, which is really a private overextension, since then the value of the dollar since 1913 has gone from $1 to like 3 or 4 cents. Essentially, your entire dollar has been eroded by inflation. The Federal Reserve is a private company. The product is debt. The product is your enslavement. To monetize debt simply means to keep you in a contract to keep you working for the Federal Reserve. All of the money is printed out of thin air. It is why we cannot lose, because the truth is self-evident. And a 5-year-old can tell you the difference between right and wrong. Hyperinflation corporation producing money out of thin air is going to end us up like the Weimar Republic. In 10 years, what will this country look like? We will be taking our worthless paper in a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread, like the end of World War II in Germany. It ain't worth a Continental. It's worth 3 or 4 cents at this point. We have to take it back. We have to audit the Federal Reserve. So I'm going to start at the beginning. There was 1913. That was the getting together of these families. 1914 and World War I and everything collapsed. Then we had the roaring 20s. Pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. It's all imaginary money coming from thin air. After the roaring 20s was the Great Depression. Then the Great Depression was not pulled out by the New Deal. The New Deal did not end the Depression. Unemployment was as high before World War II as it was in 1932. And incomes and productivity had actually declined. But the Federal Reserve was more powerful than ever, standing ready to fund yet another war. This is the big connection that I need you guys to understand. The Federal Reserve is funding the hegemony and the wars of the world that are not wars per se as they start or end, but is an empire. A Veterans for Peace member once showed me a map illustrating with thumbtacks all of the bases that the United States has all over the world. There were red dots covered all over the border of Alaska where we were formerly bordering the USSR. Afghanistan and Iraq packed. Iran right in the middle, not a base on it. They got to be terrified. And then Japan loaded with red thumbtacks. Germany, the message is once we go somewhere, we never leave. And the Green Emerald City embassy in Iraq is the size of the Vatican. It's not, we can pull troops out of there all we want, but we're establishing bases all over the world. And the way that this happens through the Federal Reserve. Since World War II, the U.S. Oh, I'm skipping something. 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement. Really important. Please Google Bretton Woods. Okay, so they established the dollar as the universal reserve currency. So you cannot buy oil in any other currency. So when Hussein wanted to buy oil and sell oil with the euro, he was assassinated. So now that Iran is trying to do the same, God help them. Since World War now on to World War II. Since World War II, the U.S. government has expanded its reach with a shocking voraciousness both at home and abroad. So in one war after another, there's the Cold War, the Korean War, the Bay of Pigs, the invasion of the Dominican Republic, Vietnam, endless involvement in the Middle East, in addition to wars on Nicaragua, Salvador, Bosnia, and Haiti, as well as wars all around the world conducted in the name of the War on Terror. Can we call it War on Poverty already, people?
War on poverty.
After every major crisis, whether 9/11, the dot-com disaster in '99, or the economic meltdown Jonathan Lewis so eloquently just explained of 2008, the response is more monetary expansion. Crisis equals more centralization. Every time there's a crisis, they tighten up. So, just a couple articles in the Constitution that you can take for what you will. I'm not going to call this unconstitutional, but you can hear what the country's supposed to be based on. So, Article 1, Section 8. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and exercises, to pay the debts and provide, etc., to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and to fix the standard of weights and measures. I'm here to tell you the Congress isn't doing that. This building is doing that. This building is one of 12. 2/3 of this building are underground. There's a salon and a gym. There aren't any windows. But this whole thing is really creepy, guys. Okay, so we go on. Article 1, Section 9. This is one of the most important parts. No money shall be drawn from the Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of all the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. It goes on to say in that same section, only gold and silver. If we had stuck with gold and silver, we wouldn't have the enslavement system that's in this country of the classes and the debt, but also the globalized entire picture, the entire planet. So we're supposed to have receipts. We're supposed to have receipts, and everything's supposed to be transparent. The Federal Reserve System operates in secret, keeping the details of their multi-trillion-dollar actions away from the American people. For example, when the Fed loans trillions to foreign banks, this is crazy. The details of the loan, including the exact amount, the collateral, the interest, and where the loans are given, is kept secret even from the members of Congress. No one knows about this stuff. It's completely unregulated. It's this quasi-legal, it's a completely illegal marriage between the federal government and the private bankers. And they own us. Everything that you see, we're all paying mortgages on back to banks. The banks own every building that you can see in America. And the reason that they do that is because they get money from the Federal Reserve that was printed out of the thin air. Not only do they print it out of the thin air, they charge interest on it. Fractional reserve lending means that for every dollar that they give you, they can charge you another $9. They're making 90% on every dollar. And so they own every single building that you can see, and it all came from thin air. They're a company and their product is debt. When they say build your credit, they mean build your debt, build your slave like contract with us. That's what we're selling you. Their marketing is the dollar. That's their billboard and the vehicle that they use to enslave us. I'm not being dramatic. This is the lender of last resort. This truly is. We are at the end of the road. Okay, so 15 trillion in debt deficit, growing exponentially. In 1907, that was the big crisis before 1913 that got everyone on board to go with this security regulating happy thing that's going to prevent booms and busts, blah blah blah. JP Morgan was putting a ton of money into that campaign and into those banks to keep them afloat. Just like today, when he's funding 10% of the law enforcement in New York City, it's so crazy. Since Treasuries, T-bills, China owns us. So yeah, basically
We're screwed.
Okay, this is the big picture. I'll end here. I really want you guys to go home and research this on your own. Please research the Creature from Jekyll Island. It's a great book. But basically there's this thing called productivity data. And that's like where the actual tangible wealth is being generated by we the people who are supposed to own this country and this government. Tangible wealth is created in one of several ways. It's mined, it's grown, it's manufactured, it's intellectually manufactured, such as Steve Jobs, whatever. So the European Central Bank and the Federal Reserve, two institutions that are like the huge global banking cartels, they own all of us. And so they say they print out money out of thin air. We go to them to buy a building or take out a mortgage, and they own us and they lend us this money, and then we are their slaves. And then after that, they tax us, and they take this income that we have generated and we have worked for, and they take it and they keep it, and it goes up and up and up and up. But the big thing, the big connect, is between this building and the wars that are going on all over the globe. This bloodshed couldn't happen. This war, it's one big international central banking system, the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, over Europe and the Federal Reserve, our United States Bank. But it's not a bank. They're providing all the money for all the guns and all the bloodshed and all the wars, and it's all for their personal interest. A lot of these points I took from a speech that was written so that we would come here originally on October 15th. And it was written by Chris Dorsey. I think he has something to say about the Federal Reserve. That is all.
Good.